So as you see the uniform, I got my first job in my entire life at McDonald's. Before I went to prison, I never worked a job a day in my life. Never worked a job. Yeah, of course I had some jobs during the 19 years while I was in prison, but I never had a job prior to going to prison. And my first job I get is at McDonald's. Shout out to McDonald's for giving me the opportunity. And I really don't do much. I'm in the kitchen cooking burgers and quarter pounders. And I ain't even gonna hold you. I feel like since I've been working there, that traffic start picking up, and it's a lot more burgers being delivered because I'm putting love into it, and I'm really not even doing too much. But the thing I look at it like this, right? I'm happy and I'm blessed because it's a job. Yes, I have qualifications with my forklift certification and a lot of other things. But however, this is the first corporation that gave me the opportunity to have employment. So I'm grateful for that. I'm thankful for that. I show up on time every day. I work from beginning to end. And I remember my very first day. It's an old head that's sitting there. Shout out to him. And we were just having a conversation. I was new my first day, and he asked me was I was working as a server or was I working in the kitchen. And I'm like, the kitchen. And he's like, oh man, the kitchen the hardest part. You got to learn how everything goes. And he wasn't saying it in a malicious way. He was just being honest. But while he's saying this, in my mind, I'm sitting here like, oh, you don't understand what's really going on. You don't understand what I just went through of being in prison for 19 years. You don't understand that this job is my first job in my entire life. And not only that, you're paying me just to put some burgers on a grill and press a button, season them a little bit, put them in a tray for the servers to wrap them up. And I'm getting paid for that. And when I think about that, it's crazy because when I was in prison, I had different jobs, but the main job I had was a runner job. So let's do the math on this. Back then, when I first started as a runner, being in prison, and that's a person, you're on a tier, you're sweeping, you're mopping, you passing out trays, you doing laundry, you emptying trash, you doing all of that. You making sure people on a tier is good. You passing what you need to pass for people. It don't gotta be anything illegal. But you're doing all of these jobs and more. And there's probably other things that I'm forgetting, right? You work 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The only day you get off is probably your birthday. And you're only getting paid $1.60 per day for this type of job, which comes out to $40 per month. I think they got a raise right before I left, but still $40 per month, which is $480 per year, which is $4,800 in 10 years. So in 19 years working this type of job, I would have accumulated, let's just say $9,000. But you're giving me the opportunity to be employed, and all I'm doing is just cooking some burgers for a couple hours out of the day. I'm doing 40 hours a week. And it's a lot of overtime because people don't want to work at McDonald's or other fast food joints, right? And I'm clearing that in about 2 to 3 months. So that same $9,000 that I made in 19 years in prison, I'm doing that in 2 to 3 months. So I sit back and I think about this, and I'm like, man, it's a lot of people that come home from prison that don't even want to, humble themselves to take a job like that. But yet you a slave in prison for however many years to get paid a little bit over $1. And you got some jobs that pay you a little bit more than that. But even at that, even if you got one of them jobs that pay you $4 or $5 a day, you're making a couple of $100 a month. You still only making about maybe you could make $2,000 in a year, right? So 10 years you can make $20,000, but you spending money on commissary and all that other stuff. But that same amount of money that you made working them jobs in prison for 10, 15, 20 years, if you are disciplined enough, you can make that money in a couple of months being free. So I was really thinking about this while I was working, and I'm like, a lot of people is getting tricked out of these spots. A lot of people is ending up in prison and they slaving and they had an opportunity to get a legit job no matter where it's at to make money. So it's like, tell me, how does that make sense? And even if you're a person that never been to prison, I'm just educating you on what it's like if you do go to prison or you know somebody in prison. But just in general, we got to do better. There's so many opportunities, and every opportunity is going to be what you make it. See, I'm not just a person that just walking into McDonald's and I'm in there flipping burgers. See, I'm putting love into it because I'm sitting here like, oh man, somebody's going to enjoy this, right? But not only that, I'm sitting there and I'm learning every other job that's there. I'm sitting there watching everybody, what they do, how this goes here, why this go over here. Because in my mind, I'm thinking on a bigger level. I'm sitting here thinking to say, if I learn all these jobs, yes, I could get bumped up because McDonald's fast food jobs are easy to move up to a manager type of position. But I'm sitting here looking at say, I need to know the ins and outs of how this works because one, it educates me on business. Two, it educates me on a corporation of McDonald's. And three, it allows me to have the knowledge that but when I get into position, I can franchise and become a part of it as an owner. So opportunities are always in our hands, but sometimes we just want to be bougie and be like, oh man, I ain't doing that. I know guys that did time in prison, less than 19 years. Some equivalent to it, some a little bit less, some a little bit more. And they'll pop out like, man, I ain't never working at McDonald's. I'm not ever working at Burger King, Wendy's, whatever the case may be. Because they feel that they are beneath it. And like I said, I have a OSHA certification for forklift. Where I could work in the factory. I'd applied for so many jobs, didn't get hired. I got so many different certifications from Penn State University for journalism, so many different things. And the first people that gave me a job was McDonald's. So shout out to them, and I'm very grateful for that. And I go in there and I work. But everything is about a matter of perspective in life. A matter of perspective. I'm looking like, yeah, I could get some free meals out of McDonald's, but I'm looking at it like they gave me the opportunity to be human again, to come out into this world, whereas doing a lot of time won't allow you to even get employed because you don't have the employment history. So they give me my employment history. And it start off because I look at things that everything happens for a reason. To me, personally, I done learned that through my 19 years in prison. Everything I was doing through the 19 years while I was in prison and times where it didn't take off how I thought it should or I wanted it to, I'm sitting there like, oh man, this should be this should be this. But all along, I just kept doing it. And no matter how many times they denied my appeal, no matter how many times, the court system played games, everything that I was doing worked towards my freedom on clemency. And I didn't even know about the clemency. The clemency didn't even exist when I got locked up in 2006. So I'm saying that to say, every job I filled out did not give me a job, but McDonald's is the first one. So to me, I'm operating under that same spiritual perspective and authority that God got something attached to this job for me. And it's the reason why he's taking me through the first job of being at McDonald's in order for him to take me where he needs me to be. I firmly believe that. And yes, I'm doing so many other things. But it's a reason why I'm going through this route right here. And I know God got blessings for me on the other side. So when we do this, saving souls, it's about every aspect of life. So I'm encouraging y'all out there, humble yourself. Humble yourself. You might be in a position that you don't want to be in, whether it's work or it's something else. But humble yourself and still do it because it pays off in the long run. And all you doing is just building your character. And I always say this, life is going to pay you what you ask of it. So if you want to be a person that want to be bougie about picking certain jobs over others, then, expect what you're going to get. But if you are consistently trying to push yourself, no matter what comes your way, then blessings is going to come your way. Because it'd be a situation just like this that you might run into somebody that might be the open door to all these other things that you got going on in your life. And I look at that for myself. This job and this path that God got me going on through this job at McDonald's is connected to opening doors to everything else I'm doing with prison reform, speaking to the youth, and all of that. Because guess what? It's part of my testimony that I was able to humble myself after coming home of doing 19 years, applying for hundreds of jobs, and say, okay, McDonald's gave me the first shot, and guess what? I'm grateful and I'm happy about it.